Traditionally, the study of American public address has focused on two things. One, of course, was political and religious oratory. The second, written works in the civic arena. Works such as the Declaration of Independence, the Declaration of Sentiments of the Seneca Falls Convention in 1848, the writings of the muckraking journalists around the turn of the century, something like W.B. Du Bois's Souls of Black Folk, published in 1903, and Betty Friedan's The Feminine Mystique. More recently, of course, some rhetorical critics have wanted to expand the scope of public address to include any work that is addressed to the public, which would bring into the ken of public address works such as plays and novels and films and television. There's no doubt that public address has played a major role in American history. In fact, one could put together a kind of highlight film of American history focusing almost exclusively on great moments in American public address. One of those moments might be Jonathan Edwards giving his Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God sermon in Massachusetts in the 1740s. Another moment might be Patrick Henry with his Liberty or Death speech in the 1770s. One could shoot forward in the highlight film into the 19th century and pick up Frederick Douglass talking about the evils of slavery. One could move to the plains of Illinois, where Lincoln and Douglas debated the question of slavery on a national forum. After the Civil War, one would certainly include in the highlight film Booker T. Washington with his famous Atlanta Exposition Address of 1895. Later in the 20th century, Franklin Roosevelt trying to lift the nation out of its despair during the darkest days of the Depression.
So first of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
Later, one would also include Roosevelt marshaling the forces of the nation in World War II in the battle against fascism.
With confidence in our armed forces, with the unbounding determination of our people, we will gain the inevitable triumph. So help us God.
After World War II, the highlight film would certainly include people like John Kennedy and the rhetoric of the New Frontier.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Certainly would include the rhetoric of the Civil Rights Movement and Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream oration. And of course, moving even closer to our own time, one could not talk about the political history of America in the second half of the 20th century without including the communication and public speaking skills of Ronald Reagan.
This is the conference report, a 1,053 pages report weighing 14 pounds. And then this, a reconciliation bill, 6 months late. That was 1,186 pages long, weighing 15 pounds. And the long-term continuing resolution